Welcome back, everybody. This is Modern Randy. I am Randy, and today we're going over the Jeskai Convoke list that has been popping up over the last couple weeks, as well as what I think is probably the best deck to take down the mirror mid-range, if that's going to be the premier mid-range deck, so to speak of. So, as always, guys, before we get too into this, if you like what you're seeing, like what I'm doing, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. And let me know what you guys are taking to your RCQs. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you guys are playing. So going over the Jeskai Convoke list, or the list has kind of evolved a little bit since its first iteration of it. In standard, we're playing 22 lands. We're not playing any kind of specialty land, any kind of like lands to give us any kind of bonus. We just need all the colored mana we can possibly play. While we're playing 4 Expiring Advantage, 4 Seachrome Coast, along with 4 Spider Bluff Canals, and then a couple of the Pain lands as well, just to kind of round it out, to make sure we always are hitting our colors, because you always want to have, white or blue on turn 1 into red on turn 2 type situation. So you have your, Novice Inspector making a artifact into Gleeful Demolition on 2, into, Night Errant of Eos on 2 as well. Just, your ideal plays essentially. But kind of going over this list, this is what the list recently did well and is doing a couple things a little differently. So obviously we're playing our 4 Novice Inspectors, our 4 Spygrass Sirens, and our 4 Warden of the Inner Skies. These are pretty much like this, 12 stock creatures you're always going to play in all these Jeskai Convoke lists. Warden of the Sky, you get benefits from having a bunch of like random artifacts and creatures lying around, which is what, Novice Inspector, Spygrass Siren does, Resolute Reinforcements does, and Gleeful Demolition. So you're getting benefits from, all these things lying around. And obviously we're playing the Novice Inspector and Spygrass Siren to help trigger our Gleeful Demolition, being able to, make our 3/1/1s and help, power out either a Knight Errant or make Emiden's Recruiter super good with our creatures just attacking for a lot. We're also playing 4 Mockingbird, which isn't a stock in these lists. We've seen, some play 1, some play 0, some play 2, things like that. But I really like the 4 Mockingbirds for sure. It lets you, on turn 3 or turn 4, you can follow up like another Recruiter into another Recruiter, because Mockingjay can copy it, or Mockingbird can copy it, give you another Recruiter, kind of this little powerhouse there. Lets you copy any of these that you might need, as well as, being able to be a copy of anything you really need. Or at very worst, is a 1/1 flying bird for 1 at the low end. So I really like the idea of that. Resolute Reinforcements is a great 2 for 1. It makes 2 creatures, has flash. Not much to say. Pretty much the powerhouse of the deck is the Recruiter, being able to give all our creatures +1 and haste until end of turn, including itself. Always good. Knight Errant obviously pays it off for having a bunch of these little creatures as early as possible, being able to refill our hand. Playing 4 Shelter's Ghost, just because it's the best removal spell we can play, along with just giving us a super good edge against the aggro decks. Obviously, Gleeful Demolition is here for more creatures, and then this one was playing 2 War Leader's Call, which is a little different. We haven't seen this too much. Usually, we see the case card, the 2-mana case card that deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to another creature, and then when you solve it, your creatures get +1/+0 when attacking. So this one's a little different, playing War Leader's Call. I think it gives this deck. I think War Leader's Call gives the deck a little bit more of an edge. It gives it a little bit more damage that you wouldn't expect, right? Being able to now have all your creatures deal 1 damage when they enter, it's kind of huge. Just having an Anthem buff is also pretty good. Kind of interesting to see. This was a card that was played super heavily when this deck kind of first came out, and then War Leader's Call really died out, and now it's starting to make its way back into the deck. So maybe that is the correct way, maybe it's not. We will have to see on that one. But this is essentially Jeskai Convoke. There's nothing too special, too flashy about it, but I think it's really well positioned in the meta if we are having Dimir Midrange be the premier midrange deck. Dimir does really well at 1-for-1ing, essentially, and getting ahead with its little creatures attacking in, being able to draw cards and stuff with its Enduring Curiosity, things like that. This deck stops that from happening. We have, the flyers to help stop their flyers from getting in, and then we're just going super wide, something that deck doesn't do well against. So, if you're putting out, 5 or 6 power on turn 2 with like your ideal starts of like, turn 1 Spygrass, turn 1 Novice, turn 2 Gleeful Demolition into a Knight Errant, like you're just putting on so much pressure and so many creatures that they can't keep up. They don't have board wipes in the main deck. Now, obviously, they have, some board wipes in the sideboard. the Gix command is the one that comes to mind, but even still, like, this deck has the staying power to go through that or to kill them before they're able to get to that 5 mana. So this deck does seem super well positioned against, you know, Dimir mid-range, which if that's going to be the premier mid-range deck, which it seems like it is after looking at, you know, the metagame from this last weekend. This deck seems like it's going to do super well against that. And then, you know, we're playing 4 Shelter by Ghost here in the main as well, so that gives us a super good edge against, you know, the red-based aggro decks, to where we're able to, you know, put Shelter by Ghost on, you know, a 2/2 or make a 2/2 with lifelink and remove their creatures is huge, right? This is a big tempo swing that we can do against them. And if we ever put, you know, Shelter by Ghost on a Warden of the Inner Skies or a Knight Errant, like, we're just off to the races. We're going to be gaining so much life they're not going to be able to keep up. So I think that, you know, puts Jeskai Convoke in a very well positioned spot as it stands right now in the meta with both Dimir and the red base aggro decks, which are making up right around like 50% of the last week's metagame breakdown was Dimir. Like the top 32 is winning, and then we had the red base aggro decks for about 30%. So if you're gonna be good against like 80% of the field, feels really good to be good against 80% of the field, or at least have a game against 80% of the field. Then coming to the sideboard, obviously we're playing, you know, 2 Destroy Evils, help destroy the enchantments, bigger creatures, same thing with Get Lost. 2 Disdainful Strokes for, you know, removal spells, for board wipe spells, for the domain decks, things like that. 4 Torch the Towers here for the low aggressive aggro deck, same thing with the Listen Master's Barrage. 1 more Warrior's Call. I'm not sure why this player specifically was playing that in the sideboard. What matchup he or she was looking for having a 3rd call in the sideboard. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I do. This is a little bit more of an enigma to me. I'm not really sure what the thought process was, but clearly they had a thought process. Maybe they're just trying it out. Maybe they had some ideas. We've all kind of had, you know, those fun of in the sideboard, things like that. 2 Protect the Negotiators has been pretty common in these lists. There's a great counterspell as well as a way to get another creature onto the field. And then 2 Rest in Peace for all the graveyard decks that are running around. Notably, like Blue-White Oculus and stuff has really died off. There's a lot of like Reanimator style decks or decks trying to reanimate Valkaroth or whatever, the like 9 mana 9/9 that has ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents BS. Really hard for this deck to beat because it's a 9/9 lifelinker with flying. So, you know, Rest in Peace really good against stopping like those reanimator strategies that we've seen, as well as hitting some other like just decks or slowing them down, like the Simic decks and the Floodcaller decks, being able to stop their nuke their graveyard, hurt some of their cards, things like that. So not too surprising to see Rest in Peace in the sideboard here, along with, you know, the Protect Negotiators as counter spells, and Disdainful Stroke, Destroy Evil to kill, you know, the bigger stuff and the enchantments, like names escape me. Temporary Lockdown's terrible for this deck, and then Torch the Tower and Barrage against the other creatures we need to be killing, all aggro decks, and then the 1/0 Warrior's Call. Overall, though, I think if you're looking for a deck that you are wanting to play that is resilient, can take down some of the best decks in the format, as well as being relatively cheap, this is definitely the deck for you. Super well costed. Obviously, Shelter by Ghost now has gone up in price a lot because everyone seems to be playing it, because red aggressive decks still seem to be doing well, but this is definitely a deck that I think is a proper choice to take if you're trying to take down an RCQ for sure. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time.